Oh my gosh, in this video, I'm so excited to talk to you about my favorite manga series, One Piece, and why I think you need to read it. And with the Netflix live adaptation just over 2 months away, the anime arguably being at its peak in terms of arc and the animation, and the manga series being on hiatus for the next month, this is a perfect time for you to see what all the fuss is about and join the hype train. Feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and now we will get started. In a world where pirates roam the vast seas, treasure awaits those who possess courage to set sail and embark on a grand adventure to find the ultimate treasure, the One Piece. It's basically a story that captures the heart and imagination of a million more people in this world with its epic storytelling, its dynamic cast of characters, and world building. That's pretty much more expansive than Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, The Wheel of Time, any of those series. And it's great. You will love it. Okay, let's talk about the world of One Piece. Now, bear with me because my sense of geography is pretty bad. Like, I cannot remember where I live most of the time. So I'm going to try and tell you just the important stuff and keep things simple so you get the gist of why this world is so amazing and why I'd potentially want to live here. So you've got the Blue Sea, which most of the world's surface is covered by, and it has some natural barriers that bisect that sea into four quadrants: the north blue, the south blue, the east, and the west. Now, these two bisecting things are called the Grand Line, which is pretty much a narrow strip of ocean that is very infamous. It's got these very unnatural climates, monstrous wildlife, and just a lot of that's where all the crazy stuff happens, essentially. Then you've got the Red Line, which is this ginormous, somewhat insurmountable, seemingly landmass, which is mostly barren. It's probably the only continent in this world that we know of so far. And so, as we said, the Grand Line and the Red Line bisect to create those four areas of the sea. A little bit more about the Grand Line, which is where most of this exciting stuff takes place in this story. So it's basically a stretch of sea with lots of crazy weather, lots of crazy animals, and lots of interesting islands. Now, each island has its own amazingly distinct, unique culture, its own climate, whether that be a winter island or like a desert island, essentially, anything in between, volcanic ice, and it's got a very interesting set of inhabitants. Some islands have just crazy animals or very strange tribes of people, and I'm trying not to go into too much spoiler territory, so I'm keeping it vague on purpose. But you've got some very interesting species in this world that the normal humans can communicate with. I also don't really want to spoil a lot of the really unique, amazing islands that come up in the world of One Piece, but I do want to say that they do look at the seafloor and islands that may or may not appear in the sky. And I think the other thing to mention about this world is that there is such a rich history and mystery surrounding that. That can span 1,000 years. So we are still, even 1,000 plus chapters into this story, we are still unraveling the mysteries of this world and what has shaped it, the dominating forces, which ties us in to the next segment. So with a giant world to be explored, there's naturally going to be a lot of characters that inhabit it. So we've talked about a huge diverse cast, and we've mentioned pirates. Now, there's also naturally going to be an opposing force. They're the Navy. While it might look at first as if the setup is black and white, not every character is either good or bad. There's so much moral ambiguity across the characters, even if they're on one side or the other. Pirates can be friends with Navy officers. Navy officers can respect pirates. Some people are corrupt. Some people are just pirates because they want to live a free, fun, easygoing life, and they're very respectful of the villagers. So that creates so many interesting dynamics. And one of the biggest selling points I want to talk about characters in this series is that Oda, the creator, really goes into detail. He loves his backstories. He fleshes out the characters so you see the most defining moments in their lives, and you hear about their motivations and hardships. So you really, really know what drives this person. And he's not doing it just for the main characters. He's doing it for the supporting cast. And the supporting cast is huge. Every time you travel to a new island, you're going to encounter one friend that Luffy makes, or two or three. And through them, you're going to meet the opposing people in that nation. You're going to find out about the setup, and you're going to meet kings, you're going to meet queens, royalty, you're going to meet henchmen, you're going to meet all these characters at different levels in the hierarchy or setup of the world. And it's just amazing how it could be any person that gets a detailed characterization or backstory. And there's just ample room to flesh out this cast and this world to a degree where the reader doesn't feel alienated. They feel like the characters are so relatable and everything is packaged in such a heartfelt way. You just fall in love with so many characters. But I know you're thinking, how could I possibly care about all these characters? There's so much going on and I can't even remember basic high school arithmetic or my credit card pin, let alone 1,000+ characters. So, how can I cope? It's easy, actually. And that's because Oda is such an amazing writer. The way he tells stories is poetic, with central themes and recurring motifs, like what it means to die, or the importance of failure and when to stand up for yourself. While there is so much going on to keep track of in this story, the way One Piece rhymes and makes its cadences is like beautiful, effortless poetry. Even if some payoffs in mysteries or character development are hundreds and chapters in the making, or old friends reunite with a bond as strong as ever after years of separation in the story, it's all so deeply human. You will always be moved by the narrative because what it means to be human, the joys, the heartbreaks, and adventures that run across the series, they are all real emotions that are not that far away from the most important or mundane aspects of your own life. Real experiences burned into your memory for all of time, so there's always something you can resonate with in this series. Now, that's the long of it. The short of it is, if I haven't sold you, this series is not just all really deep and thematic and highbrow. It's really goofy. It's so goofy. It's so much fun. There is a lot of humor in this series. There's just the way he balances that with the tears and the tragedy and the triumphant and heartfelt moments is all just this massive, amazing package of fun catharticness, no matter what you're feeling. So it's great escapism. Even when there's social commentary woven into the text, like when it deals with racism and slavery with the Fishmen tribe, or there's political corruption, it's just so believable. And it makes me draw parallels to how the real world feels and how it works. There's so much injustice. There's so much hardship, the loss of loved ones, fighting to protect what's important, whether it be on a big or small scale, through the eyes of an individual character or the movement of One Piece's important character factions. The way it's all interwoven to make you feel like these are people you understand with real stakes, it's seamless. But even if you were to forget everything I've told you about the themes of this story, and just knew that this story follows a young boy who sets out from his tiny village in order to achieve his dreams, and incidentally changes the whole world for the better, I'd say it's well worth it. Every time I go back to chapter 1 of this story and see where this small kid started off, I get shivers seeing how much he's accomplished since then. The reverberations he's made, how many people he's helped save and touch the lives of, how much adversity he's overcome with sheer willpower and determination, how he's made molehills out of mountains just by fighting for what's right and staying 100% true to himself. This is a story about one person's pursuit of chasing their dreams from start to finish, and it is so inspiring. It has captivated my attention since I was 10 years old. This is 16 years and counting, and beyond that, it's just so much more. I'd say that in conclusion, One Piece is among the series that offers a most truly immersive experience. And whether you're reading it or watching it, I hope that you are able to find this out for yourself as soon as possible. It captures the essence of adventure, of friendship, of boundless dreams. I can't tell you how many times it has given me hope when I've faced struggles and adversity in my own life, and how well it paints its world as well as how compelling its characters are portrayed. The emotional depth and thought-provoking themes it explores will mean you can't help but feel a deep resonance and connection to it. So I would say to you, whether you focus on the more individual main character story or get lost in the entire world being built across tens of thousands of pages, One Piece promises an extraordinary journey that will leave an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of those who embark on it. Thank you so much if you've made it this far through the video. This is the first time I've made something scripted, and while I did make it in the hopes of enticing my girlfriend to read this series, this is the most near and dear to my heart. I hope it's been enjoyable in any way to anyone that clicked. So thanks. Feel free to like, comment, or consider sharing or subscribing. Cheers.